I don't do multiple shows a day. However, going through my feed, I noticed something. Luciano Raimondi is back at his bullshit, back with his lies on YouTube. And the truth is, there's a whole new wave of people that don't know their ass from their elbow when it comes to this dude. There's one person on here and all the social medias I know who took this dude down hard and called Raimondi out for his bullshit, for all his stolen valor for starters. So here's the scoop on this piece of garbage for those that don't know. Raimondi, this guy's claiming that he was involved in organized crime. Bullshit. Next thing, he was claiming that he had a murder charge he was facing around the time of Vietnam, and that the Marine Corps pulled him from jail, took him down to Camp Lejeune, uh, where there he became friends with some, I can't remember how ridiculously high ranked officer or whatever he's claiming, some commissioned officer. It changes with this guy because he's so full of shit. Um, and they went over to Vietnam, and he was a Marine Scout sniper, and he had over 300 kills. Now here's where it gets even better. They don't do that. They don't pull murderers out of prison to go fight in a war. The Marine Corps, Raimondi's everything but what the Marine Corps looks for in an individual. He's a selfish, scamming fraudster. He's piss poor shape. He was in prison. Do we really believe these lies and bullshit? The Marine Corps is going to recruit some dude supposedly in prison on a murder beef? I don't think so. No, that is not the type of people the Marine Corps wants. And on top of that, going to Camp Lejeune, you kind of need to go hit Paris Island first, then you go to Camp Lejeune. So, if you're going to lie, first off, make sure you get that shit right. If you're on the eastern half of the United States, you go to Paris Island. On the western half, you go to San Diego. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's just common sense. And it's really sad is, this guy, he's a fucking joke. I don't know how anybody can take him serious, but they do. They believe his bullcrap. He's claiming that he was dropped behind enemy lines and all this stuff. Guess what? There were no enemy lines. That was guerrilla warfare in Vietnam. Of course, yeah, you have your neutral zone or things like that that are supposedly secured. But outside of the wire, dude, blows my mind. Just blows my mind. This dude insulting people, especially people who went through Marine sniper school. It's not scout sniper, I should say, because the selection process is very particular. It's not an easy thing for people to do. Um, and to earn your hog's tooth, which is a 308, slug with a piece of leather through it, a necklace that all the guys that are scout snipers wear. Hog is a hunter professional gunman. Pig is professionally instructed gunman. And it's kind of Marine Corps tradition with those two things. Now, on Vlad TV, this piece of shit he was being interviewed. They were talking about how many kills you'd had and all this bullshit. And Raimondi goes, well, you had to get 150 first, and that's how I got this tattoo. And then I got to kill another 150 more, and I got this tattoo. And he's got, mind you, he's claiming to be a Marine Corps scout sniper over in Vietnam, at Laos, and all that whole area, right? Complete full of shit, but we'll just go with it here for a moment. So he lifts up his arm and shows this tattoo, and he has got an Army Green Beret, Special Forces tattoo. Now, would any Marine ever get an Army tattoo? No, never. That would never happen. You know why? Because we're badass and we're tougher. That's all there is to it. Number two, special operations. That shit, you don't just walk right into that like something out of a movie. The selection process those guys go through in the Army, from my understanding. There's the Q course. You have the 75th Ranger Battalion. You have airborne. And I don't know as much about the Army structure or how they operate and do their things. However, selection process for any of the special operation type military, your MOSs and everything along that line, it's insanely hard. It is not just handed to people. I see it in the comment sections of these people that are interviewing Raimondi, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, wow, what a great American! He fought hard in Vietnam and all that stuff, and he's one up in every damn Marine that actually fought in Vietnam." And all the people that died over there, prisoners of war, everything. That is a huge insult. Huge insult. He's taking the credit and one up in people that actually went there. Another thing with Raimondi that's so simple to call out. For some reason, guys that like to bullshit about their marksmanship and things like that have never served a day in the military, they will say that when they were going through and they were getting their rifle certifications or whatnot for marksmanship, they say sharpshooter. Sharpshooter is not the best. Sharpshooter's in the middle. Expert is at the top. And I catch so many phonies with that lie alone. It's frustrating. I just hope people, see this dude, realize what a big piece of shit he is. He's stolen valor, lying to get money with his book. So he's actually committing, by legal definition, stolen valor. Dude needs to be taken down and stopped. I mean, it has just gone on for too long, and people buy the bullshit, and he cons and scams. So we've got that. Now, again, back to Nicosia Connection, one of the content creators on here, whom I think very highly of. I think he's pretty cool guy as far as following him on social media. Raimondi threatened him. Raimondi just hated this dude. I mean, Nicosia busted this dude's balls left and right, called out every lie this guy said, and I wish we could find all the information and videos, but the best part about it all, Raimondi is a slip and fall guy. He's had multiple lawsuits against landlords, hotels, things like that for slipping and getting hurt on their property and suing them. Now, slip and fall, I always thought that was a joke. I just thought it was kind of a funny thing, whatever. No, turns out that's actually a thing, and that's Raimondi for you. The most Raimondi's ever done is he worked in a cigar shop owned by some guy who supposedly had mob connections in Coney Island, which is completely... That one, maybe I'll believe it. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about the mafia and organized crime. But, I mean, this dude... just complete trash. So anybody that sees it, just know he's a liar, and don't believe the bullshit. Every time Raimondi flaps his guns, he's disrespecting men and women who served in the military. That's all there is to it. There's no exception. Earlier, I did that live earlier today, talking about how it's ridiculous how things always have to become a racial issue when they're not. It's ridiculous, especially when race had nothing to do with anything whatsoever. I think it's just a way of people trying to push their own agendas, and they know they can get people riled up into a mob frenzy mentality, and it's easier to control them. It's a cult leader 101 tactics for starters. But, this guy, they talk about the vigilantes and all this crap, and you guys have heard me go off because Daniel Penny, was acquitted, and I'm glad he was. He deserved it. He's a good man, good Marine. But these people are trying to say that treat this guy that was a scumbag. Hey, Antonino, good afternoon, sir. Thanks for dropping in. They're trying to make this dude on the train that he choked into a martyr, and they're saying, oh yeah, Martin Luther King wanted peace, and look what happened, he got shot. Last time I checked, Martin Luther King was not on a train threatening to kill people, saying he wasn't scared to go back to prison. That was not what Martin Luther King did. So quit comparing this guy to Martin Luther King. It's insane. Are people that dumb and so disconnected from reality and like actual American history? I mean, really, it's just nuts. I mean, you've got these radical group leaders and all that type of shit out there getting people riled up and turning it into racial issues when it's not. And you look at Black Lives Matter, I think their message in the beginning was good. I think what they did, though, I mean, they can deny it all they want. You look at all the rioting and all that shit that went down. And here's the other thing. They were burning their own neighborhoods down and stuff like that. So, I mean, what's that really tell you? It's complete bullshit. And, Unfortunately, that's how it always happens to go down. It always has to come back to the racial thing when it's not. Now, I know there's a lot of circumstances where there's hate crimes. That does tend to happen, and that's bullshit. And people that commit hate crimes are complete assholes. And if they're American, they're not a very good American, because the fact of the matter is, all of us that are Americans are Americans. There are people regardless of their color. It doesn't matter. They're still our people. All together, we might have our small differences. And we have cultural differences that make us unique too. Black culture, Hispanic culture, Asian culture, Polynesian culture, whatever. We're the melting pot of the earth. So as far as like splitting the country up with racial shit and all of that stuff, when we're at a time where our country needs to be united more than anything, to be honest. I mean, this drone scare bullshit going on. And see, I live clear out here in the sticks, so a lot of that stuff, I only see it on the news. But apparently there's a lot of firsthand accounts of people seeing flying saucers, or they're seeing orbs or lights and random, unidentified flying objects or whatever, hovering all over the East Coast. My thoughts on this matter, there's a few people going around and stating it's Iranian drones. Now, my argument with that, it would have to be Iranian drones if they were already in the United States, because we have what's called the United States Navy, the United States Coast Guard, the United States Air Force, and there's no way in hell our Navy would allow any type of boat or watercraft or anything along that line of any other country to get anywhere near enough to our shores where they can launch things like that. I mean, we have the technology, the training, and everything we have. That's not likely. It would have to be somebody already somewhere close by where they'd be able to do it. And the fact of the matter is, it is freaky and scary, I'm sure, for people out in these areas. It's what's concerning about it is the United States government not really doing anything to address it. When you've got concerned people, that's when it's like, all right, guys, time to cut the bullshit. The people should know what's going on in their country. And if the government doesn't know, they need to actually make a statement stating, hey, we actually don't know what this is going on. Everybody, don't panic. Everything along that line. But it's just, theories, hypotheses, and all this junk. But we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see what plays out. You've got all your religions that are doomsday religions trying to capitalize on prophesying that this is Armageddon and this is going to be the end of the earth and all this stuff. But as far as the drones go, the other popular theory is the chemtrails. Somebody had mentioned to me in a comment earlier that they've had people say they've spotted chemtrails coming from these drones. Now, that's a very likely possibility. I'd like to see that. I'm very skeptic with a lot of stuff. Show me facts and sure, you'll change my mind right away. Not a problem. I'm very open-minded. People are being genuine, providing that information. I'm more than willing to listen. I'm not going to debate with people, because a person sees what a person sees, and if they are losing their mind or whatnot, they're still seeing it, even though I can't. Something I learned about, when I was going through sobriety with people. But, with those factors, you factor that all in. Another interesting news thing, Argentina's president lowered their age limit to purchase firearms to 18. I thought that was interesting to me. It's strange to think of a lot of different countries outside the United States that actually do allow firearms. But there's actually some pretty cool historic figures from other countries too, might I add. We'll someday probably get into tapping into some of that stuff, because there are some pretty neat things that happen and people that accomplish things out there. But like I said in the earlier post, though, the whole people making it racial stupid. It just causes division between people in a country where everybody should be uniting together more than ever. I said it around when I did the Pearl Harbor Memorial you know, I did that live stream and I put out a few videos on it. But I had mentioned in it, you know, it just really sucks and it's sad that the United States, we can bond together big time, but it always takes some sort of tragedy to do it. And fortunately, I wish we'd be able to do it without the tragedies, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because I'll tell you what, 9/11, man. I listened to a lot of punk rock, for instance, back when I was in high school in 2001. A lot of like hardcore bands and No Effects and all that shit. And a lot of them, you know, they're all anti-government type junk or whatever because punk rock's rebellious. You had guys writing the lyrics for those types of songs and punk rock and anarchy and all that junk actually dropping that bid and talking, you know, talking about, you know, the United States, we're gonna recover from this, or, you know, great to see all you guys out tonight. Glad you're not any of those cowards hiding in caves that, you know, took down the World Trade or anything like that. You know, and I'm hearing these bands say that. I'm like, wow, you know, normally they're so anti whatever, anti-establishment and whatever crap. But the unity of it, it just sucks. It took a tragedy. You know, and it's sad because even though we shouldn't let history repeat itself, we do, and that's true fact. Nobody learns, or whomever down the road historically doesn't look back to the past and realizes before it's too late. Boom, something happens. You know, it's unfortunate. I've had people tell me, when is your guys' generation gonna let 9/11 go? And I was just like, are you serious? Do you not know how like severe that whole ordeal was? People, you know, jumping out of the building, airplanes being grounded, this happening on your own country in one of the most American cities of the world, New York. I mean, you know, it's a deep wound. It's hard to forget. It's just like Pearl Harbor. How do you forget that? You can't. I mean, it's just tragedy, especially, you know, having been privileged and being able to travel quite a bit and, you know, garrison different deployment, things like that. And as I'm older, vacations with family, you know, I've gotten to see a lot of these really interesting historical places. And Pearl Harbor gave me the chills, you know, going out to stand over the Missouri. So to forget something like that is not doing it's a disservice to the future. I mean, it really is. But you know, my thoughts on that matter. That's kind of where I'm at. The whole racial thing's stupid because I mean, are we saying that this Luigi kid, the only reason they're targeting him is because he's Italian? No, he was busted. He had a gun, suppressor, a backpack, clothing that he was wearing when supposedly he shot the CEO, allegedly, innocent until proven guilty. But people celebrate him. And I just find that odd. They'll celebrate that, but you know, a man protecting people on a train in a chokehold, you know, somebody ended up dying, but they were a threat, and he gets chastised, victimized. He's going to be tormented the entire rest of his life. He'll probably have to change his name and move somewhere else. I mean, it's sad. No good deed goes unpunished. Um, you know, so for that matter, what else here? Some other cool stuff going on. Like speaking with my dad. Now, he just barely bought this place in Idaho. Freaking awesome. He's got a gun vault. Like the door to this room is a gun vault door, which is awesome. You can step in, all that stuff, and like he's got a lot of pretty cool guns that were my grandfather's and his grandfather's that passed down from either them buying them over the years or when they were when they were enlisted in the military and stuff like that. And boy, man, my grandpa, my dad's dad, he had some stuff that I'm surprised. I mean, he had fully auto Thompsons and he had some sweet M1s and stuff like that. We were talking about it. It's exciting. My dad's like, well, when you get down here and visit me sometime, he's like, you can take them back with you. I want you to have them. And I was like, seriously? I thought for sure, man. My brothers were gonna try to fight me on that one, but I don't know. It's kind of some unique, neat stuff going on. My dad watches my channel. Pretty supportive of it. You know, he likes the safety aspects and all that junk. You know, and hearing your parents say they're proud, even though I do some shady shit and say some pretty fucked up stuff on here from time to time, you know, it's a good thing. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing. But you know, that's the rant today. I'm gonna repost one of those parodies of me shooting down that Chinese balloon because I liked that one, the perma ban from TikTok video. But you guys enjoy your Sunday. Take care.